My grandfather was born and raised in Nigeria. He was captured by the British and forced to work on the British Railroad in Nigeria. They gave him the minimal food stipend for him to keep himself alive, and he was not allowed to leave. He contracted smallpox and was relocated to a quarantine to die. He survived, which he attributes to Jesus, met my grandmother, had my dad, and passed away when my dad was 4. Although it was forced labor, we don't consider it slavery. We think of it more of like a conscription or a military draft. Given his situation, my family couldn't have participated in the slave trade even if they wanted to. But I and other members of my family still feel indebted to the survivors of the transatlantic slave trade and their descendants, including some of you who may be watching this video now. Because I have been told of places in my small town where people were kept enslaved and then sold. Their descendants may today live somewhere in the Americas. And although we haven't been able to find evidence of our direct involvement, my family may have benefited just from the benefits to society at large, from the value exchange of human life for monetary goods, which may have indirectly benefited us on the African side. On the US side, every opportunity that my father had as a Black man to build the life that he did for our family was built on the backs of those who struggled and died and suffered after they or their ancestors were trafficked here. My dad is extremely resilient, persistent, creative, and has had the shit beat out of him by police on multiple occasions, some of which sent him to the hospital. But even with all that, he would not have been able to build the life that he did, if not for all of the efforts of Black Americans. I do witness African immigrants shitting on Black Americans in spite of benefiting from their labors. And because so many Africans are ignorant as to the history of what happened to Black people in this country, a lot of their rhetoric really reminds me of some of the things I hear some white people say here in the US. On the other hand, I've also seen Africans feeling extremely excited to welcome any Black Americans back into the fold who are interested in coming back to their African heritage, including the entire country of Ghana, which initiated their year of return last year to repatriate diasporans. A couple of friends who, through DNA, have discovered which countries they've descended from, went and actually became citizens of those countries and changed their names. At the same time, I also fully understand the Black Americans who are like, no, I'm not African. Fuck Africa. They sold us. My position is to only speak about myself and to support others in whatever they speak about themselves. Up until this video, I have made zero commentary on anything related to Black Americans. But because of the strained relationship between Black Americans and African immigrants, I understand why I've received a couple of comments from people reacting to my videos as if I have. So let me explicitly say, this entire channel is my own personal experience. It doesn't have to do with any other group of people. It doesn't even represent Nigerians. It doesn't represent white people. It doesn't represent Mormons. It doesn't represent Black people. It doesn't represent mixed people. It only represents me personally. In my half Black, half white video, I did not say that mixed people should identify a particular way, nor did I comment anywhere toward African Americans or anything related to American history, and actually explicitly said the opposite, that mixed people should identify however they feel comfortable according to their own historical context. So in summary, my African immigrant family is indebted to Black Americans. My experiences and opinions do not represent Black Americans, nor are they directed at Black Americans. So please do not take them as me trying to interfere. And to be super clear to all the people who think that all Black people are the same, I'm referring specifically to the foundational Black Americans whose ancestors were trafficked to the United States, who were forced to forge their own identities, freedom, and rights from scratch and are still doing so. All that said, if my foundational Black American kin see any of my videos and feel that I've said something harmful, please just let me know so I can learn. It's my dream that by learning about each other and really hearing each other, that we can get along and work together for a better reality for all of us. In spite of whatever mistakes I may have made or may make in the future, my hopes are for togetherness and love.
If you live in the United States, you'll agree with me that many African immigrants and Black Americans are not truly connected. We work in the same places, we worship in the same places, we study in the same places, but the truth is that we are not really connecting with each other. We rarely have real friends who I'm talking about, friends who visit each other, share deep stories of themselves. I mean, like real family level kind of trust. And I'm not saying this to blame anyone. I only say this because I believe we're losing something very powerful when we stay away from each other. I've spoken to a couple of people, both African immigrants and African Americans, there are three main reasons and common misunderstandings that I've heard across both sides. The first one borders around historical wounds and, of course, the fresh survival mode. Historical wounds, of course, from our brothers and sisters here in the United States, and fresh survival modes from African immigrants. You know, our African American brothers carry the weight of segregation, slavery, and systemic racism that has been in this land for ages. That history is not theory, it's not just something that somebody wrote in a book. It is real life, the real lived experiences of our brothers and sisters in the United States, which still persist today. We're talking about real trauma that still shapes daily life. Many African immigrants, of course, come here and they're laser focused on the survival, get grounded quickly, get jobs, build quickly for people back at home mostly. Of course, sometimes our African American brothers and sisters read this as though we are disinterested about the struggles of black people in America. They find us too proud, too distant. And yes, some of us have actually entrenched that in the way we behave, in the way we talk, you know, name calling, in the way we perceive our brothers and sisters here. And yes, most African immigrants, they come here and they say, hey, I didn't create this problem. I'm just trying to survive. I've got a ton of people on my shoulder. I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to get something for myself. And I see two different pain, like real pain. And both of these pain keep talking through each other without resting, without stopping to listen, to hear, to understand each other. The second thing, of course, is the stereotype on both sides. Too many African immigrants come to the United States with stories from the media that have unfortunately shaped their perceptions about African Americans. They say they are too lazy, they are too violent, they are irresponsible. And on the other hand, too many African Americans have been served very, very harmful narratives about Africans. They say they are too backward, not sophisticated, and they are needy people, poor people who come here to collect and take from taxpayers' money. Let's be honest. These stereotypes are lies, and they are powerful lies that we have internalized and believed for so long. They sit in our minds when we meet each other for the first time. And so instead of curiosity, there is suspicion. Instead of brother, sister, tell me your story, there is a quiet judgment that lies in both of our minds. And the misunderstanding is simple. When we meet each other for the first time, we don't meet the person, we meet the label that we have been fed. And the third thing is different cultures, one color, and false assumptions. The truth is, the world has become so racialized to the point where people are beginning to think that being black means one culture. Being white means one culture. There's nothing like a black culture. There's nothing like a white culture. We are different people, influenced by different environments, and we have built different traditions, different cultures based on what we have in our surrounding environment. When African immigrants come to the United States, they come with language, they come with culture, they come with different ways of expressing respect and emotion. And usually this can feel very different, especially in a new place like America. When you come in contact with an African immigrant for the first time, they feel very different because we carry different elements of our culture. And let's not forget, a lot of us come here with the misconception that African Americans don't have a culture. No. They have built a culture of their own out of survival in this land. And their cultures carry codes, it carries rules, and of course it carries deep traditions. So the misconception is that because we carry the same skin color, we think that connection will be automatic. And guess what? When we see each other for the first time, when we meet each other for the first time, we get shocked. And when that connection doesn't come automatic, people feel rejected. As an African immigrant, you feel, oh, they don't like me because I do have an accent. And yes, we hear that every day in our workplace, at school, places of worship, even. Oh man, your accent is too heavy. I can't understand you. We feel not wanted. We feel not accepted. And likewise, our brothers, African Americans, also feel like, oh, they feel they're better than us. And they hear this in places of work, in schools. But in reality, many of us are simply unsure how to approach each other without making mistakes. And here's what I believe: if African immigrants and African Americans really build solid relationships, visit each other, listen to each other's stories, and admit where we are ignorant or where we are wrong, I think we will be unstoppable. And our children will inherit unity, not distance. So if you have listened to this up to this point, I invite you to reflect. Have you ever invited someone into your real life? And I'm not talking about at your workplace or some public event. Have you ever invited somebody from the other side to your home, into your real life? Have you ever sat down to share stories of how you grew, the things you cherished, what you went through? Have you ever bothered to speak with someone what hidden beliefs you carry about each other and just have an open conversation? So I think it's time to talk, time to listen, and it's time to build bridges on purpose, intentionally.
Every black is indebted to black Americans. Every black person that traveled to America. We are all indebted to the foundational black Americans. Because the truth is, if we compare what it has been then and what it is now, you will be eternally grateful to the foundational black Americans. The video you have just watched is a perfect example, trust me. We all need to calm down and listen to them. They have seen the cycle repeat itself. So when they're telling you calm down, they know what to expect. They know what the future holds for you. When they tell you calm down, you need to listen to them. We hear migrants say, oh, they don't like us. When the migrants say they don't like us, they hate us. The truth is they don't. They don't hate you. You just need to understand where they are coming from. Welcome to my channel, guys. I give credit to every content creator whose videos I have used here today. What you are about to watch will wow you. Just stick by and watch the videos I have put together for you. Let's go into it.
It feels like there's a generational gap in racial awareness. It's like y'all Africans seem to be behind Black Americans with regards to how they perceive America. We had that same optimism 50 years ago. Like, it seems like they still think that the American dream is real. And it would be laughable if it wasn't so sad. It's like Black Americans have been doing this for a long time. And so we are not naive and we're not bitter. We're just experienced. We've been through the cycle over and over again. We built up black towns like Rosewood and Tulsa, and they got burnt down. We had leaders like Martin and Malcolm, and they got assassinated. We've done all the things. We did black capitalism in the 80s and 90s, and now our degrees don't mean anything, and black women are being laid off left and right. It's a cycle that we've seen play out over and over and over. And we have the experience to tell you that degree isn't going to save you. Being the most smartest credentialed black person in the room when there's full of people and you're the only black person at the corporate office is not going to save you. And you just think that we are bitter. You think that you know something we don't. And it's just like, wow.
We don't get along with the Africans, and they don't get along with us. They've been taught to hate us and dislike us and think we're a fool, and we've been taught we don't like their attitude. They act like they're superior, because we're walking around talking about we are African Americans. We're not African Americans. We are American Africans. This is how an African look that's been indoctrinated with all the nonsense of America. This is how an African looks when they have been robbed of their God, their politics, and their principles. We are a result. This is what it looks like.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get, you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans, but for African American communities all throughout our land.
Most black immigrants are speaking out of ignorance because they have absolutely no idea what the black Americans have been through, what they have done. Like, do you have any idea what they have done? You know, we hear them say, the black communities are envious of them, you know, because they are doing better than them. What have you achieved that they haven't achieved already? Is it the houses, the cars, the businesses you think you've built? Come on, these guys built the Wall Street. What have you achieved? Really? Anyways, let's hear your views in the comment section. And once again, I give credit to the creators of the videos I have used here today. Thank you for joining me on my channel today. And if you are new here, please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and hit the notification bell. Thank you, and see you in my next one. Bye-bye.